Yes, good morning to you. It's not a really good morning from here in Ntinda. The family of now the late Albert Cook Tugume has had to persevere through a long night of pain after the late Tugume was gunned down last night along the Muvule Central Road in Ntinda Chiwatule. But the security agencies now have a big task to explain how this young man was gunned down at the age of 33, but also the many unexplained shootings that we see in the city. But let me first of all speak to the sister to the late Albert Tugume, that is Her Worship Doreen Nyanjura, who is also the Deputy Mayor of Kampala, Capital City Authority. So sorry for what happened to you.
And the Manchester United
fan. Thank you so much for your condolences.
Your Worship, you are the sister to the late. First of all, you were in the better standing to give us an account of how your brother lost his life.
Well, Tugume Albert Cook, Apoli, is my immediate follower, and I will stay with him here. And I will usually fondly refer to him as the man of the house. Most of us that stay here are ladies, so he's been the only man that we've been living with. And I usually, I don't know, it's my habit to always call him in the morning at 7, because that's when he leaves. Like, Cook, you wake up and give me some money, because usually in the mornings I don't have money. So the same thing happened yesterday at 7 a.m. in the morning. Before he left, he gave me some money, 200. Then around 8:30 p.m. yesterday, I received a phone call from one of the border raiders that we use here. We send here and there. We fondly call him Munyoro. So he called me and says, "Ew, have you heard what has happened to your brother?" I'm like, "What has happened?" Then he told me, abantu baizire hano batera amasasi. Then brother waba bamtwara, that gunmen came at the shop. They gunned down one person and then they abducted my brother. So I didn't have that patience. I immediately switched off the phone and ran to the bedroom, started making phone calls. Then my other young sister called him again, said, "Julie, maybe I call him and get details." So we rush to the scene, and rushing at the scene, I asked, of course I went trying to make phone calls here and there, calling the OC, doing what. I was like, that might be a longer process, because I was even driving, my driver wasn't. I said, let me just post on my social media handles, maybe Paul see, and then they ran to my rescue and tried to help. So I reached the venue, found when the whole place was surrounded. Fortunately, police was already there. I found the DPC, Old Chira Road. I found the OC in Ntinda police station. So I asked the OC in Ntinda, because for him, I knew him. Like, I'm told my brother has been abducted. Have you people tried to follow him up? Where exactly is he? He keeps quiet. I'm like, I'm asking, have you done anything? Have you people tried to follow up? And he pretended as if someone was calling me. Then another man comes narrating. He's like, bana kati ali mudwalire mulago. So I'm like, but who is Bana? Bana wa border. So I'm like, but why is the mobile money guy? Because that is my brother. Then he breaks the news for me. He's like, oh, say that one has been killed.
The body had already been taken to mortuary?
No. The body actually stayed there for a very long time, because they had to conduct, I don't know how they call it, but the police were there trying to get evidence, count the number of bullets used and all that. So I'm told, when my brother was at the shop, there was a man who was seated outside all along. I thought this was maybe a usual customer. So around 7:55 p.m., my sister calls him. And he's like, Cook, where are you? Like, ndio ninsibaho ninyi just as in muka, I'm closing and I'm coming home. So when he was getting out with his bag, this guy who was all along waiting grabbed him, Then this border man called Bana comes to save my brother. and he takes in 2 bullets.
What's Barnabas?
Barnabas, yes, called Barnabas. So my brother takes off. Then they realize that now my brother had run away with, of course, the money, because usually he comes back home with a bag, with the money, mobile money, agent banking lines, phones, and all that. So my brother tries to run behind the shop. There are other houses. So they follow him. They first give him the first bullet, the second one. As he was running, there was a door. So he tries to enter, and the owner of the house closes. I think it was just by accident. She was also hearing bullets, and of course she wanted to save herself. Then my brother continues, finally, the third bullet. I think that's what killed him. And anyway, there was no exit now where he had gone, because there was a very long perimeter wall. So he lied there in a pool of blood. I think all along I was strong until I saw that image of my brother lying in a pool of blood, helpless, in a Kasasiro and all that. So that is how the life of my brother was cut short.
You know, this unfortunate incident is not the first one around this area. We know that General Katumba Wamala was shot at not far away from here. The later former state attorney was also gunned from here, Juan Kagezi, but also others like other mobile money agents. From your preliminary information, knowing the person of Albert Cook Tugume, but also the way security conducts its investigations, are you able at this particular moment to ascertain what could have been behind the killing or the shooting of Albert Cook Tugume? Honestly
speaking, I can't tell. I don't know whether it's political. I don't know whether it's the usual gangs that target mobile money agents and agent banking people. I can't tell. But when he was gunned down, these gunmen jumped over a fence, and there was a border waiting for them, and then they took off.
You know,
I can't really point to anything.
You know, the reason as to why I'm asking you that is that this is not the first agent or mobile money agent to be gunned down, but also we know that many times the security operatives take long to either produce the reports or even do thorough investigations and then maybe make the family know about what's happening. This time around, what are you telling the security officers as they carry on the investigations?
I was actually called by the DPC Chida Road. I think that was around 11 or midnight. It's like, can you give us the mobile money lines, agent banking lines? We want to start on the investigations immediately. So I told him my brother was gunned down at 8 p.m. You're calling me we are talking at 11. Really, is it still immediate? So really, it's for them to be more vigilant, because at the scene where this happened, there wasn't any visible cameras, unless we didn't see them, but I didn't see any of them. So I'm told there's a new building across the road. It was lit, and so the place seemed a bit secure because now there was light, and maybe that is what was forcing my brother to wake up to around that time. But I'm told one of the people, his customers, told him, but my brother, you need to start closing when it is still early.
As a family, what is your demand from these authorities? Because they are supposed to protect life and property, and now we know you as a family are grieving over the loss of your brother. What is that you're asking the authorities?
Our demand is that those who have killed our brother should be brought to book. Our demand is that justice should be served. We are asking for a miracle. For once, can we get to know who gunned down our brother? For once, can we expect a miracle? For once, can our security forces trace the people that gunned down my brother? But from the look of things, I think most of the security guys were only concentrating at the venue. I don't think there's anyone that tried to run after the people that gunned down my brother. Honestly speaking, I don't think there's anyone that tried to run after those people. Like I've said, phone call came later, but I was with all these people at the scene. So I don't know. I'm just expecting a miracle. But maybe these things, I think there's a way God communicates. Because yesterday when I got here, I called my friend and I told her, please make sure at 7 a.m. you bring someone to slash our compound. They we are not going to use the slasher. Can we get someone? These flowers had become old. Then I called someone, I'm like, make sure the flowers are fixed. And just before that, I had sent someone emojis when I was crying. And the person called back and asked, what's the problem? Then I responded and said, I have my fears, pains, and worries. The person asked, is it because KB is in a prison? Little did I know that maybe God was communicating something. That my brother was going to be gunned down.
Too absurd. I know as a family we also have a burial program. I know you've also organized a church service to pray for the late. Maybe you can elaborate on what's going to be happening from now.
Yes, so our team has already gone to the mortuary because that is where he slept for post-mortem. And after that, we shall have a church service at St. Luke, Ntinda. That is where he always prayed from. At 7 a.m., he was always at St. Luke. So we shall have a church service at St. Luke at 2 p.m. And afterwards, his body will be transported home. We are still waiting for a final word to come from our father on whether the burial should be on Saturday or Sunday. But for now, we have a church service at 2 p.m. People have been so kind to us. We've received so many messages. People have been comforting us. The media has been there for us, and honestly speaking, we do not take that for granted. We appreciate the support that has been granted to the family so far.
Thank you so much. When you talk about the support extended to the family so far, also mentioning the media, finally, you are not an ordinary person. There should be some people who will be by now reaching out, especially from positions of authority, to reach out either to extend condolences or just to explain to you that maybe they are doing this and that. Are there any people that you know that have really reached out in this unfortunate incident?
Well, not generally. Maybe on my ex, I saw Baram, I saw the deputy speaker, who also I think tried to call me earlier on, but I've not yet talked to him, and several other people. Politicians, yes, those were my friends. Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi was at the scene when the shooting happened, plus several other people that I couldn't really identify. I have not yet heard from those in authority telling me how they are doing, maybe following up, and no, not that. They are simply sympathizing with me for losing my brother.
Very unfortunate, and may the soul of the late Albert Cook Tugume rest in peace, as we expect as the worship has already mentioned. We expect that this time maybe the security officials will do an extraordinary work in finding the perpetrators of these heinous crimes. Stephen Imbido on FFS Chibuga, handing you back to studio. For the rest of the programming here on Morning at NTV, we shall be keeping tabs on what really happened and what is happening as far as the life of the late Albert Cook Tugume and that Barnabas who is in the hospital. Back to you in the studios of Morning at NTV.
Thank you so much, Stephen Bidday, for that sad turn of events. And condolences out to you, the Deputy Lord Mayor Nyanjura Doreen, for the loss of your brother. Now, she talked about a few messages that came through, and I just want to reiterate what she mentioned. On her ex, when she posted the message accounting the death of her brother Albert Cook, a message came through from Honorable Dr. Balam, who says, this is devastating news. I strongly condemn the senseless and brutal murder of Tugume Albert Cook Apuli. My heart goes out to you, Deputy Lord Mayor, entire family, friends, and loved ones. May Cook's soul rest in eternal peace. I pray for the speedy recovery of Barnabas, the heroic border rider who risked his life to save Cook. His bravery will never be forgotten. The heinous crime must be thoroughly investigated and brought to justice. We must stand together against violence and protect our communities. May God comfort Cook's family during this difficult time, and may justice be served. Atieni Barugahara And also another message came through from Alan Kasuja, who says, such a handsome young man, heartbreaking. I'm terribly sorry. I pray for you and your family. Well, a sad moment for the Deputy Lord Mayor and her family, but also something to think about as a country. What are the firearms laws? What is the Firearms Act of 1970 protecting Ugandans against people owning private firearms? How can the government, how can the police protect you in your home, you in your business, you at your workplace from a merciless killer who comes from nowhere and shoots you down? That is something to think about. But again, we stand with the Deputy Lord Mayor, and we hope her family is strong enough, and may the Lord keep them safe. Now, we are going to take a short break, but we shall be right back with our discussion on captivating trends of the Year to Year Festival right here at Morning at NTV.